Before we dive into the story, please consider subscribing to my channel for more compelling narratives like this one. Life can seem rock solid until a tiny seed of doubt creeps in, unraveling everything you held as certain. That's where my tale starts. I'm Jacob Hensley, the guy running the family market, a business my dad built from the ground up and one I've poured my life into preserving. My routine was steady: early mornings unlocking the store, afternoons buried in paperwork and vendor calls, and evenings spent quietly at home with my wife, Clara. To everyone in town, Clara was a beacon of kindness, generous, deeply involved in church, always leading fundraisers, charity events, and prayer groups. People often said I was lucky to have her, and for years, I genuinely believed it. Our marriage felt open and honest. Clara never hid her phone, and I'd known her passcode forever. No strange messages or odd calls ever raised a red flag. For a long time, our bond seemed unbreakable, grounded in trust and shared values. But then, something shifted. It wasn't sudden or glaring. It sneaked in quietly, like hairline fractures spreading through glass before it breaks apart. Claire started spending more hours at church, staying out well past dusk when she used to be home early. She explained it away with new responsibilities and events, her voice calm and convincing. Her reasons sounded plausible, even soothing. Still, a quiet unease stirred inside me, whispering that something wasn't right. At first, I pushed it away, scolding myself for doubting a marriage built on love and faith. But the feeling grew heavier. One evening, as I sifted through invoices at my desk, Clara called to say she'd be at the church for hours, tidying up for an upcoming event. Her tone was soft, steady, reassuring. But after hanging up, a wave of suspicion hit me hard. Without hesitating, I grabbed my keys and drove to the church. The town was still under the night sky, and my heart pounded as I pulled into the lot. The building was dark, no lights, no cars, no sign of life. I circled the grounds, checked the doors. Everything was locked, empty. I sat in my truck, waiting, hoping she'd show up, but the silence held firm. That's when a cold truth began to take root. I didn't confront her that night. Clara came home later, cheerful and polished, describing how she and the church group had been cleaning and organizing. I listened quietly, but I could sense the flaws in her story. By morning, I knew I couldn't ignore it anymore. I drove to the city and found myself at a small office tucked between faded brick buildings. The sign read, Elliot Kane, Private Investigator. Elliot was older, composed, and direct. I laid out everything: the late nights, the empty church, the gnawing doubt I couldn't shake. He listened carefully and promised to start watching her immediately. As I left his office, a strange calm washed over me. Soon I'd have answers. The days that followed dragged on. I went through the motions at the store, greeting customers, restocking shelves, acting like everything was normal. But every glance at Clara, her kindness, her prayers, even the dinners she made, felt like a facade. Then the call came. Elliot's voice was brisk and calm. Come to my office. It's done. I drove there immediately. He handed me an envelope, and my hand shook as I opened it. Inside were photos, dozens of them. Clara, my wife, stepping out of a roadside motel with Nathan Brooks. Nathan was no stranger. He was well known in town, a church volunteer who often led Bible study. His wife, Sarah, rarely joined community events. The photos showed them together, arriving, leaving, their closeness unmistakable. There was no denying what this was. Elliot provided a timeline, dates, times, places. Every night Clara claimed she was at church, she was with Nathan. I sat there, numb, the images searing into me. The betrayal stung, but what hurt more was how effortlessly she came home afterward, smiling, speaking gently as if nothing was wrong. I thanked Elliot, took the envelope, and left. That evening, when Clara called to say she'd be at another church meeting, I stayed calm and simply said, all right. Then I parked outside and waited. A long pause followed before she fumbled through excuses, suggesting I grab groceries, or even my favorite dessert. I didn't move. Moments later, I saw her slip out, not through the main entrance, but a side alley, head down, moving quickly. She climbed into my truck without a word. I drove home in silence. Halfway there, she tried to weave a story, claiming she was dealing with something personal. I said nothing. When we reached the driveway, I set the envelope in her lap and said, "Evenly, look inside." Her face paled the moment she saw the photos. She broke down, sobbing, pleading, insisting it was a mistake, swearing she loved me. I didn't react. I didn't console her. When the clock chimed, I gave her one sentence: "You have 1 hour. Pack your things. Go." Then I walked inside, leaving her in tears. She packed in a daze, dragging her bags behind her. I didn't watch her leave. I sat still, staring at the clock, detached but not done. I drove to Nathan's house, knocked firmly, and asked for Sarah. She looked puzzled as I handed her the envelope and walked away without a word. Later that night, Nathan was kicked out of his home. No debates, no second chances. Word spread fast. Clara and Nathan became pariahs in the community that once admired them. Their friendships, their respect, their standing all gone. They were left to face the ruins of their actions alone. I filed for divorce and it was finalized quickly. I kept the house, the store, everything. Clara tried to reach me afterward, calls, letters, even showing up at the shop, crying. I ignored it all. When people asked, I never badmouthed her or Nathan. I'd just say the truth always surfaces. And it did. Their affair crumbled under the weight of being exposed, leaving them with nothing. I moved forward with my life, stronger and freer than before. In the end, it wasn't the betrayal that shaped me, but how I responded with truth, composure, and dignity. That was enough to carry on.